What is up, everybody? It's your boy Steve here, Dynasty Life Fantasy Football. We are back. Finally. I know it's been a few days since earlier in the week, but we are here now to give you some weekend action. We're going to go over the games.
Give you some weekend action. We'll go over give you some
Oops.
weekend action. We'll go over give you some weekend action. We'll go over.
All right, my bad. Yeah, so I'm waiting for one of my counterparts, Chicken, to hop in here. But we're gonna go over all the games. We're gonna go over any questions anybody has, start, sit, trades. I mean, whatever you got, throw them in here, and we'll get them answered for you. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe for us there. You can follow us on Instagram. Bunch of info there. You can check out Patrick. What's up, buddy? Um, try and argue every take I can. I can't waste. I'm causing all type of chaos. Well, welcome, Patrick. I think you're out there. Thanks for tuning in again. But yeah, you can follow us on Instagram. I post there pretty much daily. And that I just let everybody know when we're gonna be on and stuff like that. I'm usually always available. Just some of my counterparts sometimes are a little busy, but I got Chicken about to jump in here. His loading up. Finally, he got all his equipment set up, so he'll be joining us shortly here. But yeah, um, Patrick, what happened with you last week in some of your leagues? I'm not sure how many leagues you're in, but how did your week go? Who disappointed you, and who did work for you? Where's Chicken at? But yeah, for me, I mean, I had some tough losses. I was down in one league by 8 points, and I had Josh Allen, and this other person had Stephon Diggs. And Josh Allen, of course, went crazy, but the problem was so did Stephon Diggs, and I wound up losing that game, which really hurt because I thought I had it. All he had to do was just not throw one touchdown to Diggs, and it absolutely killed me. But main league with the $1,500 pot, I won, and that's all that matters. All right, good, good. But yeah, so I wound up going in my home leagues. At least we got three home leagues. I went 1 and 2, which kind of sucked. But so I have St. Brown, and then I was going against Cup and Cheetah on the same team, and I just had no chance. I got rocked. Yeah, Hertz and Diggs had their thing. Chicken, who's about to get on, he is a big believer in Hertz. He's got him in our Dynasty League, so he can definitely speak some to Jalen Hurts there. But all right, so I guess I'll just start talking about the first game. Houston and Chicago. So Houston and Chicago. Damien Pierce, I think, gets a nice workload here. I think he had 15 carries last game, so I expect Damien Pierce to get some nice work, and hopefully he can find himself in the end zone. I mean, Chicago has looked horrible so far, especially offensively, where Mooney is just absolutely killing you. If you have Mooney, I mean, I'm sorry. I think everybody's been kind of let down on Mooney, and nobody's kind of saw what it's been coming. What's been coming. So it's been rough for Mooney owners. I mean, like I said, I have him. I'm benching him this week. I'm not playing him until he can actually do something. I mean, you can kind of excuse that first week, like, okay, with the weather and everything. But I mean, last week, 70 yards passing. I mean, that just that was just horrible for Justin Fields. They need to get the ball into their playmakers' hands. Of course, Montgomery is one of them, but everybody's stacking that. So you got to find, time to get the ball to Mooney like they were doing last year. I mean, so, that's what I think there. I mean, Montgomery, of course, you're starting Montgomery. I mean, he was effective last week. I don't think he was the week before, but I mean, you got to play Montgomery regardless. They've shown now that Montgomery's still the guy. There were some question marks at first with Herbert coming in. So I think the Bears pull something together at home. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I hope they do for fantasy purposes, but I don't know. I think I got a good feeling Pierce is going to really have a good game, and Chicago has just looked so bad. So they've got to prove at least they can do a little something. Not that Houston has been crazy much better, but the Browns defense let you down. Yeah. No, didn't they score a touchdown? Was that them that scored a touchdown? Didn't they score a touchdown at the end of the game? They saved the day with that, I think.
Crazy Chicken 718 joined.
All right, here's Chicken here. What up? So yeah, I just had started briefly. Oh yeah, on Thursday, but not last week. My bad, Patrick. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I was just talking about the first game, Houston and Chicago. And I'm going with Houston, but who are you going with, and what do you think?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
Only me and you.
Houston and Chicago? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough matchup. Both teams are not very good.
Yeah, so who are you picking? You got to pick one. Pick it for the week.
I'll probably go with Houston.
Okay. And I know you have Damien Pierce on a Dynasty league. I don't know if you have him in any redraft, but I was just talking about Damien Pierce. But yeah, what do you think about Damien Pierce and any of the Houston offense?
Pierce, I mean, still depends on if he gets the ball. With the workload, I feel like he looked good last week. He didn't produce much, but he showed some flashes of what he can do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not starting him, but I'm holding him on my bench to see what he can be.
Yeah, I mean, if you need somebody, I'm okay with starting him. I mean, I think he had 15 carries last week, so I think now, and Burkhead had no carries, so I think they're finally gonna just kind of give him the ball.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, what about Chicago? I talked a little bit about Montgomery, Mooney, just absolute fucking disappointment.
I hope Mooney picks it up. I'm a fan of Mooney. I think he's very good. He just got off to a slow start. Hopefully, he can pick it up. I think he can.
Well, he fucking better. I mean, Fields had 70 yards last week, which it was just so disappointing. And back-to-back weeks, you get like donuts from fucking Mooney.
Yeah, Fields isn't just not a very good thrower. So,
well, tell me about Cooks also. I know Cooks is one of your boys.
Cooks, yes,
yeah. So
1,000 himself.
Is it safe to play Cooks every week?
Yes, it's safe to play Cooks every single week, no matter what. If he's on your team, he should be started, no matter what.
Well, I guess depending on how deep it is or the format and stuff. But all right, so we both got Houston there.
Yeah, I like Houston.
Patrick says he's got Bears by a point. He's too scared to do a field goal. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a game that could come down to the wire. It could be a low scoring game. I don't know if it'll be high scoring, but all right. What's the next game on here? We've got the Raiders and Titans. Is Kamara Hold on. Before we get into that real quick, we've got a question here. Julio, thanks for joining, Julio. Like and subscribe for us there. Would you trade Montgomery, Kareem Hunt, and Debo for Kamara and Drake London PPR? No, absolutely not.
I wouldn't do that. I
And it's
wouldn't do
not
that
even
either.
close. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Chicken?
I wouldn't do that either. I would definitely keep Montgomery, Hunt, and Debo over
Yeah.
Kamara in London.
Yeah, I mean Kamara. I mean Montgomery. He hasn't been great, but he gets the ball and he's going to get the volume. Kareem Hunt is obviously going to get the ball. He's been a top 10 guy with Chubb before, and that was with Baker Mayfield. And Debo. I mean, now that Elijah Mitchell is hurt, I mean Debo's going to get a ton of work. So I'm not trying to get rid of any of those guys. Not for Kamara or Drake London. Drake London looked great. It looks like he'll be integrated a lot more into the offense now, but Kamara, I am not a fan of at all, at all. And then I think the next question was, is Kamara going to be suspended? We don't know that. I think if the video comes out, yes, Kamara will be suspended if that video leaks. But if it doesn't, most likely he'll be suspended next year, as I've been saying, as the trial's been pushed back and stuff. But I'm just not a huge fan of Kamara in general, especially with the situation with the video. And on top of that, he's injured right now. He didn't play last week, so he's not a guy I'm trying to go out and get. What else you got to say about that, Chicken?
Yeah, I'd definitely be a little bit nervous about Kamara this year. I don't think he's going to get suspended now. It could either be, late in the season or, maybe next season. And then, Drake London, I don't know. I'm just a little bit iffy about him because of the offense over there. It's not very good. It's not a very good team. So I typically like to stay away from the first-year guys as well. Not a big fan of the rookies. So,
Yeah,
it's definitely a trade.
Yeah, I like London. He, obviously was very involved last week, and like you said, but because he's on a shitty team, he might get a ton of opportunities to catch the football, and there's nobody else there. Although I do think they'll start to get pitch the ball a little bit more. So we'll see, if that takes away from Drake London or not. But yeah, this is definitely one sided. Don't trade those guys for Kamara and London. Don't do that. You'll just be hurting yourself there.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
Yeah. Patrick says Hunt's got 15 touches all 3 games so far. Yeah, I mean the guy's getting the ball. He might not be the number 1 guy there, but he's getting the ball. And Atlanta's offense is not one I want to buy. And say, yeah, that's what we're kind of both saying here. So I think we all can agree. There. But yeah, thanks for the question. Anything else? Throw it out there. But all right. So we were talking about the Raiders and the Titans is the next game there. Who do you got, Chicken? And I don't know. Tell me something.
And the Titans, that's a tough one too.
Now, before you say anything, don't forget now. Jacobs didn't travel with the team, so he's not playing. So we'll see the rookie Zamir White in there, which is a good guy to plug in. If you have Jacobs or if you need a little spot start guy. But go ahead.
It's a tough game. I do like Tennessee. I just don't think that passing game is very good since they lost AJ Brown. Not lost him or traded him away.
Yeah,
which I don't think was smart. But it is what it is there. But I don't know. I might take the Raiders in this one. Just because I like Devontae Adams.
Jacobs flew out separately. He's playing. Okay, so I didn't see that. That must be a different kind of news. Okay. So Jacobs flew out separately. I mean, it still doesn't change my mind about it. I think I just don't like the Titans at all here. I think the Raiders definitely come out on top. But like you said, they gave up AJ Brown, which was a dumb decision, of course. But now they're just loading the box. There's no offense. There's nobody scared of anybody, and Derrick Henry just isn't able to do much at all. So the offense as a whole just has changed. It's different, you know.
Yeah, Derrick Henry can't get much going. I think he's gonna have a big game though this week.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so. He has to.
Yeah, I ain't counting on it. But all right, so you got the Raiders or Titans? I'm going with the Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders too.
All right, so you got the Raiders there as well. Let me pull up shit here. All right. I like the Raiders. Dylan, what's up? Thanks for joining, man. He likes the Raiders as well. Yeah, I think we're all going Raiders there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, Patrick, thanks for throwing that in there. I mean, even fantasy wise, even though you're not throwing them, those are guys that even if Jacobs is missing, you're not really throwing them right in because you don't really know what the workload kind of is going to be. I would expect Zamir White to get most of the carries and Abdullah be kind of the third down guy. But we just don't know yet. So yeah, you're right about that. All right, KC and Indy is the next game. I'm going with KC.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I don't think I'm going to go KC too in the blowout.
Yeah, I'm going with KC there. But Indy, I mean, JT didn't have a good game last game, right?
Nope.
They didn't look good. They got shut out. And Kansas City, obviously, with my homeboy and everybody that they got there. Now, the one thing that's a little bit tricky with the Chiefs fantasy wise is you just don't know who's going to get the ball other than Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Even CEH, like I wasn't a huge fan of CEH, and he's been playing well, but I don't think that's not going to continue at the rate that he's getting the ball. I mean, 10 touches and 12 touches the first 2 weeks. He's not going to sustain getting, those whatever he has, 2-3 touchdowns, over and over. So,
yeah, I'm not a believer in him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
And McKinnon's been there in a lot of the time. McKinnon is getting a ton of burn.
Yeah, McKinnon is solid.
But and then wide receiver wise, like I said, it's just hard to pick anybody. Juju was decent the first game. What do you have, 6 catches or something like that? And then
nothing.
And then he laid a dud, and it's just that's the thing is that Mahomes just kind of spreads that shit around. And, it's hard to really pick a guy there other than Kelce, Is Juju still startable after that dud? I think you have Juju in a league. What are your feelings on Juju?
I'm still starting Juju because, I think him and Mahomes will figure it out.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the ball more. I always thought that Juju was going to have a big year this year. Coming to the Chiefs, and I think he just needs some more time over there to get things going. But I'm still a believer in Juju, and I'll still be starting him now.
Yeah, I think you still got to start him. I mean, wide receiver 3 or a flex is okay. Juju's starting to scare Dylan there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he's going to have his weeks, but I don't think you can pick and choose when those are going to be. It's just kind of going to happen. Pacheco's a good stash. Yeah, I mean, they've got all 3 of those guys involved. That's what makes me not like CEH even more is that, he's just not as involved as you want him to be if you're, relying on starting him. But the other part of that is he's in a crazy high value offense. And even with his limited touches, he can still produce. So, I don't know. Are they just conserving him? Possibly because the guy can never stay healthy. So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, but that also is a reason why I'm kind of, scared to go that way. Now, I do have CEH in a league or two, but I'm not, like, happy or thrilled about it. I mean, it's only a matter of time before, he possibly gets hurt again. So, but if you did a no RB strategy or something like that, and you've got CEH, I mean, it's not a bad pick there. But your RB1. So you must have went, you must have went heavy receiver and everything on that. So, but all right, so we both got KC there.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's anybody really. I mean, MVS is hard. You can't really start MVS. You
I wouldn't start him. No.
can't really start Mecole Hardman either. So now they're using a lot of tight ends, as you notice. Like Fortson is in there, Noah Gray is in there. They're using a ton of 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 tight ends. So, all right, let's go to the next game. Is going to be Buffalo and Miami, which that could be a good one. Miami coming off obviously the huge game and huge comeback, and Buffalo coming off of their big game too. Who do you got? Who do you got here, Buffalo or Miami?
Oh, that should be a really good game. I think I'm probably leaning more towards Buffalo with this one, just because of Josh Allen, their quarterback, and their defense is very good. And
Yeah.
I'm not exactly a believer in the Dolphins quarterback Tua, even after his great week last week. He did have a great week.
Listen, if you got Tua, sell high right now. He's a good quarterback. Obviously, the system he's in kind of works perfect for him and what he does. But he's not going to throw 400 yards, obviously, every week or 6 touchdowns.
No, it's rarely going to happen.
If you have him in any kind of league, in any format, it is a good time to kind of shop around and just, talk that shit. Look, everybody was hating on Tua. Look at that, 6 touchdowns. Just, trying to see, trying to see what you could get there. But I mean, Waddle and Cheetah just went crazy. And we were talking last week on the show. I think me and Hammer were on last week, Saturday night, and we had a lot of Waddle questions. And, we were saying,
he's good.
Waddle is good. Yeah, and I was saying how, Baltimore secondary was all banged up, that it was a really good matchup for him. And Waddle wound up fucking going just off. Obviously, Cheetah did as well, but yeah, I mean that was surprising. I mean, I expected them to be good, but seeing that they're actually capable of that is kind of crazy. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming either. Especially for both of them to do it in the same game. I figure, maybe one or the other. On like any given week. But for them both to do it in the same game, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Buffalo as well. Even though Miami obviously played great last week, but I mean, Buffalo they're just so good. I mean, Josh Allen he's so good. I mean, and obviously Diggs. So it's just hard to go, and that defense is playing lights out. So it's just hard to go against them right now. But other than Diggs, I mean, Gabriel Davis missed last game. He should be back this game. But even still, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Gabe Davis, even though he still did good that first game. But he didn't have a ton of targets in a crazy pass heavy offense. So I don't know. I'm still not a crazy believer. I'm not a believer yet in Gabe Davis. I think he'll get his just because of the offense that he's in. But if you watch him like run routes, I mean, he's not like beating anybody on a route. I mean, it's like a blown coverage he had that first game. So what do you think about Gabe Davis, Chicken?
I think Gabe Davis is solid. I think if you have him, you could start him pretty much every week. You can hope for a touchdown. Definitely get a couple catches. Just because the offense that he's on is so good. He has Josh Allen throwing him the ball. And also Stephon Diggs on the other side. So, I like Gabe Davis. I think he's a solid play.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to play him. I mean, if you have him, it just depending where you draft in the offseason or how close you drafted to the season. He was going really, really high in drafts at one point, and then he kind of leveled out, and so it all depends kind of where you took him in the draft. But all right, we've got a question here from Daddy. What's up, Daddy? That sounds so fucked. But thanks for commenting, like and subscribe for us there. But should I trade T. Higgins? I already don't like where this is going. But all right, should I trade T Higgins for Miles Sanders? I don't. I fucking hate Miles Sanders. But all right, my bad. Should I trade T Higgins for Miles Sanders? My other wide receivers are Devonta Smith and Debo, and on the bench DJ Shark. Running backs are AJ Dillon and James Conner. Conner has an ankle injury. Are those your only running backs? Like, is that all you have? Is Dillon and Conner? I mean, do you
have a backup?
you have like Benjamin or anybody else maybe because I don't like the trade just to make up for Connor. I mean, T Higgins is not someone really you want to give up. Your other wide receivers are Devonta, Debo, and DJ Shark. So you need Higgins. I don't know. I don't think that's his only running backs. But yeah, I don't like this trade. I'm not doing this, even with no running backs. Who's on the waiver wires, Daddy? Who's on the waivers there that you can possibly pick up to fill in for this game? Or even is there somebody maybe you can trade Devonta Smith for an RB, a low end kind of RB guy, just so that you can have. Let me see if he answered back here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Dylan. You can get way better for Higgins. Chase Edmonds. That's fine, bro. Play Chase Edmonds.
Pick him up. Yeah,
absolutely. Go grab Chase Edmonds and play Chase Edmonds. You're not giving up. You're not giving up T Higgins. We're not doing that. So for me, I'm gonna say, yeah, go pick up the guy I'm trading with. Doesn't want Devonta Smith. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want Devonta Smith either, to be honest. It's just rough with AJ Brown there. It looks like they're trying to get him the ball a little bit more, which is nice to see. But still, no, man, go get Chase Edmonds there. That would be my. What about you, Chicken? You think you should just pick up Chase Edmonds instead of doing that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely wouldn't trade T Higgins or Debo Samuel. You got to keep those two guys as your main wide receivers to start every week.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, if Chase Edmonds is available, that's definitely the play. I'd probably rather have Chase Edmonds over Miles Sanders because you never know with Miles Sanders with that offense. He seems to be having a little bit of a better year than last year, but I don't see him scoring a lot of touchdowns, with Jalen Hurts always poaching all the touchdowns at the goal line, on runs and, play action runs and all that. That's what Jalen Hurts does. So I definitely would not trust Miles Sanders, and I wouldn't want him on my team.
Yeah, definitely do that. So go get Chase Edmonds. You are you're Stevie B. And your Chicken approved. So your Chicken approved and Stevie B approved. Go get Chase Edmonds. Do not make that trade.
Yeah.
You guys are right. Fuck it. Yeah, man. And you have Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you've got a pretty solid team there. Don't worry about trying to make a crazy trade or something. But yeah, just pick up Chase Edmonds and call it a day, man. Just call it a day. But all right. So that was Buffalo, Miami. All right, let's go with Detroit and Minnesota, which was a really good game, which should be a really good game. You guys can check out Fantasy Football Network. I did a show on there, a face-off show. So if you go check that out, you can see me talk about the Vikings, going at it with a Lions fan, and just talking about the game and stuff. But of course, I'm going with my boys, the Vikings here. Chicken, who you going with?
I think I'm going to go with the Vikings as well, but I wouldn't be surprised at all, if it goes the other way. I like the way the Lions look this year. I like what they're doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it off, but I expect the Vikings to win, though.
Yeah, I mean, we played absolutely fucking horrible last week, but I think we get back on track. They're saying they got to get the ball to Dalvin more, which they do. 6 carries is not going to cut it for an elite running back. So
Dalvin definitely has to have a big game.
So I expect them to really kind of pound the rock and fucking Dalvin just go off. So that's my thoughts there. But on the other hand, Detroit has put up 30+ points the fucking first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Their
Detroit's offense looks good.
offense is great. I have a ton of Swift and St. Brown, which I've been calling since the beginning of the season. Before drafts, I've been saying go fucking get these guys. But yeah, they're playing sick. I think St. Brown does break the record. He needs one more game of 8+ catches to break the record. He's tied right now with Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown for I think eight games in a row with 8+ catches or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I'm gonna let y'all run to a couple more games, but I don't want to hit the CEH topic here. All right, so we're both going with Mini here, right? You're going with Mini, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Dalvin is due. That's what I'm saying. Dalvin is due. I mean, the first game he had plenty of touches. He just didn't break one out, get past 100 yards, or score a touchdown, and that's kind of what hurt him the first week. But you saw, I mean, they gave him the damn ball. I think he had 20 carries. He had like 5 targets. So, he's a guy they just got to get the ball to, and that will open up more of those big plays downfield where they can hit JJ, which was happening in that first game. They were, play action. They were getting Dalvin involved, and then those big plays were opening up for JJ where he was just fucking wide open, just wide open. But, all right, so we both got Minnesota there.
Yeah.
Let's do New England and Baltimore. New England and Baltimore. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think it's gonna be a blowout. Probably not even gonna be close. I don't
Okay.
like New England this year, and yeah, just see it being a very one-sided game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Baltimore as well. Obviously, they had a just insane week last week. Wound up losing, but I mean, ton of fantasy points. Obviously, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Bateman had a huge play, which he kind of looks, he looks good. I don't know about wide receiver 2, maybe your wide receiver 3, or or your flex spot, but he's a guy again that's going to be hit or miss kind of. He's either going to have that big play or he's not. So that's the thing with being in that Baltimore offense. But yeah, Ravens blowout. Dylan thinks it's a Ravens blowout as well.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't got any Ravens actually. I don't got any stock of any Ravens. I do. I have Stevenson in a few leagues. So Stevenson is interesting. An interesting guy here, especially if we think it's going to be a blowout. To plug Stevenson in with Montgomery out now. New England now is going to lean on Stevenson and Damien Harris. So what do you think about Stevenson?
I'm not that big of a fan of Stevenson. I think he's solid, but it's hard to trust any running back in the backfield over there in New England. Because you have Damien Harris there. I actually like Damien Harris. Very high on him. I think he's a good back. He just needs to get, he just has to get his touches, and if he gets his red zone touches, he's going to score. So.
Yeah, but so that's the all right. So in a game like this, right? Damien Harris isn't really heavily involved in the pass game. That should be kind of roll now. And in the game where we think is going to be a blowout, are you starting Damien Harris or are you starting Stevenson? Or neither?
If I have both, I'm probably starting Harris. I would choose Harris too. Probably any game because Harris does, seem to be the starter there and the lead back. He gets the ball probably a little bit more than Stevenson has, and Harris is going to get the bulk of the goal line carries.
Yeah, if they can get down there, I mean they've looked pretty shitty lately, but yeah, man. He will finish as a top 10 back. KC hasn't needed CEH to have carries when they find themselves in situations where they need to milk the clock or the weather sucks, CEH will get his. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about top 10 back. We'll have to agree to disagree there. I think he's a good back. The problem is number one, staying healthy, and number two, they just rotate too many guys in. I mean, we saw, the first week, like I said, I think what he had 10 touches or 12 touches. Either way, he had 10 touches one week, 12 touches the next week. That's just not gonna cut it. I mean, they've got these guys, Pacheco and McKinnon, just way too involved to be comfortable, with CEH. Now, is it possible that he finishes as a top 10 back? Of course, anything is possible, but my thing is all about chance and probability, and I don't believe that that's a high chance or probability that happens. So that's just kind of my thing with it. And then we saw last year, they leaned heavily on McKinnon when games really mattered in the playoffs, and I don't know when in some of those close games, McKinnon may get this ball, so it's tough. It's tough, but right now CEH is a play. Obviously, he's playing well, he's producing, so you're going to play him. I'm not saying to sit him, Patrick. He's a good player. Not saying he's not going to do well, but just me personally, I'm just not a huge fan of CEH. But at the same time, he was being drafted in a very good spot where it was very late. You can grab him, so I'm not mad at his price if you got him late. So. How's it going, gents? What's up, James? If you haven't already, like and subscribe for us there. Thanks for joining us. Would y'all trade Kyle Pitts for Russell Wilson? Oh, this is a good question. And this is a Dynasty super flex. And it's a tight end premium. Wow. Would y'all trade Kyle Pitts? This is a really good one. I like this one, James. Would y'all trade Kyle Pitts for Russell Wilson? It's a Dynasty league. It is super flex, and it's tight end premium, 1.5 PPR for a tight end. Now, my next question would be, before I answer this,
who's your quarterback?
Hold on. For context, that's what I was going to say. Who's your number one QB right now, and who's your QB that you have in the super flex if you have one? For contest, I own Irv Smith, and I need a QB bad, and it's also win now. My thing, hold on, my bad. My thing with that is I think with Kyle Pitts in a dynasty team, and especially a tight end premium, I believe you can get way more than Russell Wilson for Kyle Pitts in a dynasty superflex tight end premium. So that would be my only thing, is that I think is there anything else you're getting with this trade for Russell Wilson? I mean, are there some first round picks? Are there other players? I mean, if you're just you're not doing Kyle Pitts for Russell Wilson straight up. I don't care how bad you need a QB. You can play Davis Mills and keep Kyle Pitts. I know you're in kind of win now mode, but yeah, James, can you give me what I say? Yeah, is it just Kyle Pitts for Russell Wilson straight up? Because no. I'm not doing that. Kyle Pitts hasn't done good so far this season, which is a great time to buy low, by the way, for anybody watching out there, because I think he'll obviously be heavily more involved. But when we're talking about dynasty, I mean, Kyle Pitts is a guy that's going in the first round in dynasty leagues. So, I mean, even though it's super flex and Russell Wilson will probably go within the first couple rounds as well, I mean, I'm not doing it for that. I'm not doing it. I know he said for contest, I own Irv Smith and I need a QB. But who's your current QB, James? If you're still out there, can you let us know who your current QB is? And even if you have a second QB on the roster. That's what I would say for that. Patrick says, I wouldn't start either. Yeah, Baltimore has an okay run defense, but the pass defense is trash. New England only stands a chance if they open it up. Yeah, I mean, that's what worries me about Damien Harris. And that's why I kind of like Stevenson as a little sneaky kind of play this week. But yeah, James, get back to us on that, please. Who's your current QB? I know you're trying to win now, but I'm not trying to give up a guy like Kyle Pitts just for Russell Wilson, especially in the format that you're particularly in. Mikey Lou, thanks for joining, Mike. Like and subscribe for us if you haven't already. Help us out there with these damn algorithms. But all right, Chicken, you answer this. Start Juju or Hall in my flex, full PPR.
I'm probably going to start Juju. So I think he's going to have his breakout game coming up. It's only a matter of time before it happens. We all know what Juju Smith could do. He's already had a huge season under his belt. I think 1,400 yards. With Roethlisberger over there for the Steelers. So yeah, I think Juju's big game is coming, and I would definitely go Juju Smith over Brees Hall in the flex this week.
Yeah, I mean, who are the Jets? Who are the Jets playing? I know we didn't get to the Jets yet. They play Cincy. And we've got Dylan says Hall, Patrick says Hall, and I'm gonna disagree with y'all, and I'm gonna go with Chicken here. I'm gonna go with Juju in the flex. I know Juju obviously didn't have a great game last game. And I mean, KC's playing Indy. Obviously, they haven't looked well. It could be a blowout, and maybe Juju doesn't get enough work. But my thing with Hall, especially you're talking about full PPR, where Hall had just one reception last week. It happened to be a touchdown. Now I love Hall for the long run, but not just yet. They're just he's I guess a decent guy you can put in the flex, but you can't have great confidence because of Michael Carter being there and him still getting all that work. But Hall's little play that he had last week, the run, and then obviously the touchdown, he's going to start to get more looks. He's going to start to get the ball more. They're not going to be able to keep the ball out of his hands for crazy long. So I do think as the season goes on, Hall will be a lot more valuable. But I think right now you've got to play Juju and that upside, especially in your flex. You want to play like an upside guy. If you want to be safe, then that's you. But we're trying to win. We're not trying to fucking be safe, right? We're trying to win the shit. So, I'm playing Juju with the upside that Juju has compared to the upside that Hall has. That's how I'm looking at it there. So that's what I would do, Mike. I would play Juju. I would play Juju there, and Chicken happens to agree.
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way. Can't go wrong with Hall in the flex, but personally for me, I'm just going Juju.
Yeah. Patrick, I got him very late. I went 0 running back and rocked the shit. Jalen Hurts, Diggs, JJ, AJ Brown, Pitts, Bateman. Yeah, man, you rocked it. So I don't mind. Yeah, you've got CEH, Gibson, Hunt, Edmonds, ETN. Oh man, you killed that. I don't know. Are you playing with grandmas in that league? I mean, that's just awesome, bro. That's a sick draft. That's a sick draft there.
Yeah, that's good.
James, sorry a little late. My other QBs are Kirk Cousins and Tannehill. And it would be straight up, no, we're not doing that. And no, bro, no, man. Don't panic on Kirk Cousins right now. The guy's still gonna throw,
I would keep Kirk, yeah.
He's still gonna throw. I think he'll throw 35 to 40 touchdowns this year. He's been in that 35 touchdown range. And especially super flex, bro. Nah, just keep Pitts, roll with Kirk Cousins and Tannehill in the super flex there. I mean, you're fine. Obviously, it could be better, but you're not in a horrible position. And Pitts is not a guy that you want to give up. I mean, we're talking about a guy that broke the record for tight ends in a rookie season with the yardage that he had. I mean, he didn't have the touchdowns, but imagine if he had the touchdowns to go with it. He's a guy that he might take a little time for him to really kind of kill, but even last year you could say he killed. I mean, so yeah, I'm rolling with Kirk and Tannehill. Chicken, what do you think here?
Yeah, I would definitely roll with Kirk and Tannehill.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins, a lot of people just don't really give him the credit he deserves. He's been a solid quarterback. Last couple of years, if you look at his numbers, he's always around like the top 10, top 11. Every single year, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He throws a lot of touchdowns. He takes care of the ball. So, yeah, I'll definitely go with Kirk Cousins rather than, trade for a guy like Russell Wilson, who honestly hasn't really shown much this year. So, we don't really know what he's going to be yet over in Denver, if he's ever going to return to the form that he was in Seattle. I think he very easily can, but he just has to show that first.
Yeah, I mean, James also said he's just dying at QB. I mean, listen, you had a rough week last week with Kirk, obviously. Only other option is a 2023 second for Mayfield, different offer. I wouldn't do that because you have Tannehill and Kirk. I mean, Mayfield is not going to be better than he's not going to be substantially better than either one of those. So we're not going to
No,
go and get
Kirk
Mayfield
Cousins
now.
is your best
Now,
option.
the one thing about Tannehill that scares me is if they lose a few more games, Malik Willis might be coming in. So at that point, you might have to go get Mayfield. But let me ask you this: is it possible to trade maybe that second and Tannehill for maybe a slightly better, a better QB, and something else? I don't know who else you've got, on your team. Tannehill got you 0.88 points. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I mean, you had a rough week. You had a rough week. I mean, since I am saying what I'm saying about Tannehill, I mean I'm not crazily opposed to going out and getting Baker Mayfield, and then maybe you can ship off Tannehill and get that pick back. You know what I mean? Like I would swap. Mayfield hasn't played great either. That's the other problem. They're kind of in the same boat. So I'm just gonna roll with Tannehill. Hopefully he can play the whole season. Hopefully they win some games so they don't take him out and start playing Malik Willis. But yeah, I'm not doing anything yet. I think if I'm in your position, I'm sitting and holding tight. I don't think I'm going out and getting Mayfield either. I mean, can you get Mayfield for cheaper? Can you throw in like a third maybe instead?
Yeah, I don't really see his value being that high.
Well, this is it is a super flex, so it is a little bit different as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I don't know if I'd pay a second. See if you could get him for a little cheaper than that. But everybody, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't. We'll get to all the questions here as we roll down. Mikey Lou says good looks. I like him against the Colts zone coverage. I let Brees win me games in later weeks. Yeah, man, I think that's just the safest bet because Brees Hall is just not out there for a great percentage of the snaps for you to just kind of plug him in over a guy like Juju, like I said, just with that upside that he has there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tannehill got you. I know, man. I know that's rough, but it'll be all right, man. It'll be all right. Thoughts on Adam Thielen, 98% route on pass plays and 38.5 routes run, number 10, 27 point. Yeah, man. Brett, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do every week I do a video for Fantasy Football Network. I'm the rep for the Minnesota Vikings, which is my favorite team. And so every week, and you can subscribe on the website or the app, the Fantasy Football Network, and you can get like exclusive Viking shit on there, and all other teams as well. But anyway, yeah. So the Vikings are my team. I do cover them, so I'm very familiar with Adam Thielen. I'm not playing Adam Thielen. I'm worried. The first game, obviously, they did great. He wasn't heavily involved. Second game, a crazy ton of passes. I think Kirk threw like 44 passes or something like that. Adam Thielen was targeted on like 7 of them. I mean, and it just seems like he's not really looking for him. And I expect this game, especially for them to go with Dalvin Cook a lot more. I think they're really going to feed Dalvin Cook. So I'm not comfortable playing Thielen until he can show that he can do something, I think, unless you have to play him. I mean, he can very well go off. He's obviously a touchdown machine. All it takes is for them to get into the red zone for him to, start making plays. So, I'm not upset if anybody's starting him, but I would say just be careful. He hasn't done much yet. So that's what I would say there. But what do you think, Chicken? I think you have Thielen on one of your teams, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think about Adam Thielen? Are you playing him?
I'd be patient with Thielen. I think he's still going to have a pretty good year just because, I think the Vikings offense is, a really good passing offense. Then you have, Jefferson on the other side. That's going to be getting a lot of the attention, which, I think is going to, mean some good things for Thielen. And, like you said, he can score touchdowns with the best of them. He has a nose for the end zone. He has great hands. And I wouldn't be mad if you're starting Thielen. I'm personally not starting him this week just because there's a couple other guys on my team that I feel like are better options. I think I chose Mr. 1000 Brandon Cooks over Adam Thielen this week for me to start in my flex. But yeah, I mean, I think he's a safe flex play. You can play him in your flex, but you know, uh, until he really shows what he can do this year and has his big game, I would probably keep him in the flex or on the bench if you don't have any other options that are better.
Yeah, wide receiver or flex would be okay to kind of put him in. But like I said, I mean, even last week, like Irv Smith only played like 56% of the snap. So you would expect like, Adam Thielen to get more targets or to get the ball more. And I mean, even KJ Osborne only had 2 targets, 2 catches. So it's like, you just kind of really expected him to be involved more. But yeah, I think they lean on Dalvin Cook this game. They'll get it together. So yeah, definitely hold on to Thielen because he, like I said, he's a fucking touchdown just machine. And Kirk loves him down there. So the guy won't move on the price. I might be able to get Jimmy G for a second or third. Absolutely,
I'll
go
do
get Jimmy.
that.
He's a guy that he shouldn't give you like a donut points like Tannenhill did. He's gonna get you something. He'll get you a little something. So I do love Jimmy G a lot better. Yes, I'd go out and get Jimmy G. If you can go get him for a second and a third, absolutely get him over Baker Mayfield. So
Yeah, I think that's a good play. If you can get Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins, I mean, it's not exactly high-powered quarterbacks, but I think you can make do with those two if the rest of your team is solid.
yeah, absolutely. Problem is I have to win 2 years in a row to win the big pot. You have to win 2 years in a row to win the big pot. Okay. And Baker and Jimmy G are more than likely 1-year guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I'm not going to give up. You're not going to give up your young elite talent and the most valuable piece most likely on your team right now, since you're saying you have a win now team. You don't want to give that up, just for a QB, especially like a Russell Wilson. If you're talking about like Josh Allen, like, okay, we can have that conversation then. But, if you're talking about Russell Wilson, I'm not willing to give up a Kyle Pitts, not in a dynasty, especially in your format with the tight end premium. We're not going to do that. So, yeah, go out and get Jimmy G, James. That'll be a good move for you there. Everybody watching out there, thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. But Patrick says, who's the better stash option? James Cook, Rashard White, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Algier, or the kid in Tennessee? No, it's not the kid in Tennessee. That offense is just not good enough. Even for Derrick Henry is having trouble, producing right now. But Chicken, I'm gonna let you answer this one first before I get into it. I think you'll agree it's definitely not the kid from Tennessee. I think we can eliminate that.
No, I don't think it's him. I would either go with James Cook or I would go with Walker because the running back situation over there in Seattle. I don't know about Penny. I'm not too sure. What he's going to do this year, and it's probably going to be a split over there. And I think if Kenneth Walker starts to have some good games and show that he can produce, he can probably win that job over there. And James Cook, I also feel the same way over in Buffalo. I think he could also win that job. I'm not very high on the running backs in Buffalo. Devin Singletary, I just I don't think he's a good running back, to be honest. And I don't even know who else they have. Who do they have? Zach Moss.
Zach Moss.
I don't think he's really a good back either. I think James Cook has more talent than both of them, and I think it's only a matter of time before he probably takes that job over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because obviously Buffalo is so good and they're in a crazy, high-powered offense. You want to say Cook, but it's tough because even if one of those guys goes down, Singletary or Morse, there's still the other guy there. As in where Rashard White, if Lenny goes down, which he is, I think apparently right now, doesn't he have a hammy issue, which could linger on, which I don't like. So I do like Rashad White. Kenneth Walker, same thing. All it takes is for Penny to get hurt. Tyler Algier, same thing. All it takes is for Cordell Patterson to get hurt. Where Cook, it kind of takes two guys to almost get hurt before he can actually get, all the reins. So it's rough. It's tough. But then again, Cook is in that high valued offense. And if he can just get in, even on just like the passing downs and solidify that role, that could be, an elite kind of role. All right. So you're going with who you going? You said you're going with who? Cook and Walker?
Cook and Walker. I'd probably go with Walker. I don't like Rashad White just because he's barely on the field. Leonard Fournette is clearly the bell cow back. He's on the field all 3 downs, 90% of the plays. And Tyler Algier, I don't really believe in him too much. I haven't really seen him play, that much personally. So
he split the carries last week with Patterson. They both had 10 carries last week because Damien Williams is on IR.
Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker looked pretty good last week. I liked what I saw from him, even though he didn't much. But,
this is what I'm gonna go with. You're gonna go with you went with Cook and Walker. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll go with Cook or Walker.
I'm gonna go with Rashad White and Walker for kind of the reasons that you said, where Lenny's on the field most of the time, and that's what you want. If you're stashing a guy, you're waiting that he has some kind of crazy upside. And the thing is, Rashad White steps into that huge role if Lenny goes down. He has tremendous upside. Same thing with Kenneth Walker, where if Penny goes down, he becomes the guy. Coaches have already said he's a 3-down guy, and they like him, and he can be a 3-down guy. So for me, I like Rashad White and Kenneth Walker to stash. Like I kind of mentioned before, James Cook kind of needs a few things to happen to really kind of be involved. And Algier, even though he's the second guy right now, because Patterson is the first guy, Damien Williams is hurt right now and IR, but once he comes back, it's kind of just going to be a mixture of trio of guys there. So, yeah, I like White and Walker to stash Patrick for me. I was rolling with White because Fournette's already banged up. Exactly. But I'll have to keep an eye on Cook and Walker. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why I'm rolling with White and Walker, exactly for those reasons. Dylan says, where do you think OBG lands if he makes a comeback? That's a very good question. He'll most likely get on a team, and Patrick actually says that here. Look at that. He'll most likely find a team, but what's the best team really for him to go to? I don't think he goes back to the Rams now because they've got Allen Robinson. I don't think he wants to be phased out like that. So I don't think he goes back to the Rams. What do you think, Chicken?
I mean, even if he does land on a team, I don't see him really having much fantasy value.
Especially this year. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if he lands on the Bucs because they just seem to be picking up, all the veterans, guys that Tom Brady could throw to. And then, I don't know. I don't know what other teams were looking at him. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to the Rams.
Green Bay. Patrick says Green Bay, which I was thinking.
Green Bay, that would be a good fit. He could maybe revitalize his career with Aaron Rodgers. I can see that happening, but
I just think if we're talking redraft, not dynasty, of course, but redraft, I don't think he's worth picking up or holding or stashing or anything, because even by the time he comes back and gets integrated into the offense and learns the playbook and all that, he's not going to be able to play. I mean, I'm not sure what his timetable is to come back. If I'm not mistaken, it's like week 12 or 10 or some shit. I mean, by that time you're in the playoffs.
It's going to be playoff time.
Yeah, by that time you're in the fantasy playoffs, so it's not worth picking him up or stashing him. And sometimes don't go with the name. Always just kind of go what's out there and who's actually producing. There's plenty of guys out there that you can pick up. Dylan says, I'm so thin at wide receiver. Yeah, don't pick up OBJ. But let me ask you this, Dylan.
He might not even play this year.
That's what I'm saying. Who is out there right now in waivers, Dylan, that you can pick up? who's out there that you can pick up? Who's available on your waivers that can pick up? Give me a few names there that you can pick up there. He said he forgot about the injury. Yeah, OBJ's dead. I'm sorry, not in that sense. He's dead as far as fantasy this year. Like you can't.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick him up.
You can't draft him. Patrick says Jamison Williams. I mean, yeah, but same kind of situation where coming back
I'd
from
probably stash him if you have the room on the bench. I would definitely stash him on the bench if you have a spot available.
What's his timetable to come back?
I'm not sure. What I was reading about him a couple days ago.
Dylan says 14-team league, not a lot there. I grabbed Cobb and Dortch. Bro, Dortch is the perfect play right now.
Dortch, yeah.
Dortch absolutely is the perfect play right now. Pick up Dortch right now. Like right now, just fucking hit.
Yeah, he said he grabbed
grab somebody. Yeah. Grab good.
That's a good grab, Dortch, for sure. Cobb, I don't know.
Okay, he did grab. Cobb. Yeah, Cobb is not great, but yeah, Dortch. Okay, perfect move. Definitely. That's a perfect move. You are Stevie B and Chicken approved to play Dortch this week, bro.
Sure.
So, yeah, definitely go on that. I think that's a kind of easy decision compared to what's out there, especially Rondell Moore, again, is not playing this week. So, Dortch is a guy. I picked up Dortch. I think I'm going to play him this week. I'm determining if I should play him or not. But see if Jamison Williams is rostered. Keep an eye on Gallup. Patrick, those are excellent names.
Gallup's a good pickup. I think they said Gallup is coming back this week or next week.
Those are good options as well. Now, I wouldn't play Gallup until Dak comes back. Let me say that. I won't play Gallup, but Gallup's a good guy to stash, and hopefully Dak comes back. They're saying maybe week 5, week 4. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this week on the pitch count. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm not playing him. Even with Dak.
Yeah, I wouldn't play him yet.
I'm not playing.
I was super rushed there.
Yeah. All right, let's get into, unless we got more questions. I think that's it for now. But all right, Detroit and Mini, we did. Baltimore, we did. All right, Cincinnati against your New York Jets. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I think they need to get it going. They're already 0-2. I don't see Cincinnati falling to 0-3. They just they just have a better roster than the Jets. They're just clearly a better team.
Yeah.
So the Jets did beat them last year in an upset. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets do pull it out, but I expect Cincinnati to lay a good smackdown on the Jets. And it hurts me to say Jets are my team. Been a lifelong Jets fan, but I don't think they have much of a chance tomorrow.
Now, let me ask you about, since you're a Jets fan, last week I said a good guy to stream and play, especially if you're in need of a tight end, would be Tyler Conklin. 7 targets the first week, 9 targets last week, 6 for 40, had the touchdown the week 1. But what do you think about Conklin over there?
Conklin, I think he can be solid. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw him drop a couple passes last week that he should have caught. But, I think he can be solid. It's hard with the Jets tight ends because they have so many. They have,
that's the thing.
That's Uzama, Conklin. Yeah. They also drafted a tight end. They have a rookie tight end that's good. So, and their quarterback play isn't really that good. So, I would try to stay away from any Jets tight ends.
Yeah, no, not for the long term. Uzoma might be back this week, but if you were still in the bind, I still wouldn't mind playing Conklin because obviously it's the first week back. He's not going to see a ton of work, so Conklin will be in there. They are going against Cincy, so they could possibly be getting blown out and have to throw the ball. But yeah, I'm not a Conklin fan for the long run. But possibly for another week, you can maybe start him if you're in that bad of an actual position, or depending how deep your league is. Patrick says everybody start stashing Gus Edwards right now, especially if Dobbins is off. I'm gonna say nah, bro. I'm gonna have to disagree on that just because they have so many damn running backs. You don't know who is gonna get the damn ball, which is always crazy. And so yeah, I'm not. I mean, even last week, a lot of people got burned on what's his name. I think Drake played last week. We had a lot of questions about Drake, and I was just saying like to just stay away from Drake. Like you just don't know. There's just too many guys there, and then you've got Lamar, of course, just hogging goal line carries and snaking TDs in. So I'm not a fan of any Baltimore running back. I'm just totally staying away from that whole situation. It's just not even worth it. What do you think, Chicken?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't trust any running backs in Baltimore. Just because Lamar runs the ball so much, he's going to get a lot of those touchdowns. And typically the last couple of years, Baltimore really hasn't had any running backs that have produced where you could start them in fantasy. Dobbins is possible. He could be good. Dobbins' rookie year when he played, he was decent. He produced a little bit. So, I mean, if it is going to be any one of the Baltimore running backs that's going to produce and you have to play, I probably would just play Dobbins when he comes back, but it's still risky. I would try to stay away from any Baltimore backs.
Yeah, they just play too many guys. What's up, Yee? If you haven't already, like and subscribe for us there. Pick two: Sutton, Cooks, or Curtis Samuel. That's a good question. I guess before we answer that, Curtis Samuel. I don't know whether to believe it yet or not. I have a hard time.
Good.
He has been playing good, but I have a hard time believing in it. I mean, Wentz last year also played great during the beginning of the season and then fucking just fiddled off. And then don't forget, you do have Terry McLaurin, you do have Jahan Dotson. But what do you think about Curtis Samuel?
I think it's risky play, but I mean, first 2 weeks he has produced. You probably can't start him now, with a little bit of confidence. He has been getting a lot of targets. He's been running the ball as well. I've seen he's had a bunch of carries the first couple of weeks. But if you had to choose between these three, I would probably go with Cortland Sutton because he looked good last week with Russell Wilson throwing him the ball. I don't know if Judy, what the status with him is this week if he's going to play. So I know Judy was out last week, and Sutton had a big game, because of that. I do like Brandon Cooks too. I think Brandon Cooks is a solid start, either way.
So who are you picking? Take two. Who are you taking?
If I have to take two, I'm taking Sutton and Cooks for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm definitely going to say Sutton. You have to play Sutton. I think without a doubt, that's definitely one of
you
them.
have to.
The only other tough one there is Cooks and Samuel. And Cooks, what has Cooks done so far? I know you've got him on one of your teams, Chicken. Let me look up his.
Yeah, Cooks hasn't done.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Much, but
he has. Man,
he's been getting the targets. He's been getting catches. He just hasn't had a touchdown or that big game yet. I think week one he had like 7 catches for like 80-something yards. Decent performance. And then,
that's the one thing. That's the one thing about Cooks is he hasn't had a touchdown or anything. But again, 12 targets and 10 targets. So, I think I'm gonna roll with you on this one. And I think I'm gonna go with Sutton and Cooks. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. There's no bad play there.
No, there's no.
This week the Commanders are going against Philly, so that could be a high-scoring game. They could be passing the ball a lot there as well.
Philly's pass defense is also really good. They just shut down Justin Jefferson.
They did. So for that reason, maybe as well. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play the safer one. I'm gonna play Sutton and Cooks. Even though Samuel kind of proved it 2 weeks in a row. But I think I'm going to go Sutton and Cooks here. I think Samuel comes down a little bit. This game comes back to reality. But yeah, so I got Sutton and Cooks, and Chicken's got Sutton and Cooks there too. Dylan, Jets looking up once Mom Slayer comes back. Yeah, once the MILF Hunter comes back, I think they'll be all right. No, I mean, I don't know what to think really about Wilson. I mean, I don't know if he's the guy. I really don't. He's got to come out and prove shit. So, I mean, I don't know. What Jets fan, Chicken, what do you think about Zach Wilson?
I mean, personally, I don't really like the guy. We got stuck with him. But you got to give him a chance to play. You know, this is his, year to prove himself. Once he comes back and he's healthy, you got to let him start. You got to let him throw the ball. And, he pretty much has the rest of the year to fight for his job. See if the Jets are going to keep him, because I would give him one more year. I'll give him the rest of this year. And, if he doesn't produce, then, maybe draft a quarterback or, look elsewhere. The most I would give him maybe is one more year after this season to, try to prove himself at most. And then, might have to move on. But I don't know. We'll see. I've seen some flashes from him that I've liked, but for the most part, I'm not really a fan of Wilson.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Philly and Washington, as we just were talking about, who do you got in that game?
I got Philly. Definitely going Philly for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Philly too. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts has been fucking going crazy. AJ Brown looks good. Even Miles Sanders looks, good.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said Miles Sanders has been a good player. He's been very efficient. They just don't give him the ball when it matters, which is in the damn red zone. So that's the biggest problem with Miles Sanders. But yeah, we just kind of spoke on Samuel. You've got Terry, I think, in the league. How Terry is?
Yeah, I like Terry. I have high hopes for Terry this year. I do. I just don't really trust Carson Wentz, but Terry has shown some flashes the first two games. He's had some brilliant catches,
Yeah.
as he always does. But yeah, I'm hoping that Terry could finally really have his breakout year. And
But is he with Samuel?
Career.
But is he gonna now with Samuel and Dotson? I mean, Dotson obviously has had some touchdowns, right? 2 touchdowns the first game, a touchdown the second game. But he's only had 5 targets in both games, which worries me, about consistently like trying to start him. And then again, I'm not really sold on the whole Curtis Samuel thing yet either. So
Me neither.
I don't know. But yeah, I think we're both going Philly there. I mean, we've got to disagree on something here. We've gone the same on every fucking game so far. All right, New Orleans and Carolina. Who you got?
I'm definitely going New Orleans. I don't trust Carolina. I don't trust Baker Mayfield. I think Michael Thomas is just going to continue his bounce back campaign with the big game. I'm a big fan of Mikey Showtime Thomas, as I call him. I mean, the guy was out for 2 years. He had a banged up ankle, but his hands were never hurt, and he's clearly showing that. So his hands are still the same. He can catch the ball. One of the best, contested catchers in the game. He could have a defender draped all over him and still catch that ball without a problem. So
yeah, I mean, we'll have to disagree. We'll have to disagree on Mikey Thomas there. Obviously, I think he's a great player, but I think just Olave is starting to really come alive now. I mean, Michael Thomas hasn't been like heavily targeted. He's had a couple of those bully bowl, touchdowns, which obviously is good for him. But I think Jameis is also hurt a little bit now too. But I'm gonna go with Carolina actually over New Orleans. So I'm gonna go opposite of you here. I think Carolina maybe gets back on track. I think CMC has a big game. Hopefully DJ Moore, they get the ball to DJ Moore. Carolina is due. Dylan says, yeah, Dylan, you're right.
I think they are due, but we'll see. I think the Saints defense is just too good.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they can pull something away at home. Elijah Moore's on waivers in my league. I wish I wasn't so deep at wide receiver. Plus Wilson is getting close, so Corey Davis is going to be out. Moore will be back in. Yeah, I mean I'm not a huge fan of either. I mean Wilson obviously did good. They'll get a lot of garbage time points, obviously just being down in games. But the one issue I have is now Zach Wilson is going to come back in eventually. Who is going to be the guy? Who's going to be the guy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of Corey Davis. I've always been a fan. I think he's a very good physical receiver. He's a good deep threat. He had that nice touchdown last week. I think week 1 he had a very solid week 2. I think he had like 7 or 8 catches, maybe 10 targets the first week. And I think he could be the main guy there. I think it's going to be Wilson and Davis. I'm not really sold on Elijah Moore yet. I think he's a good slot receiver, but I think the two main guys there are going to be Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis on the outside. I think they're going to produce the most out of the Jets receivers.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Corey Davis. I like Wilson, and of course you're picking him up. If he's on waivers, if you can.
No, definitely.
Definitely
Even
good.
Elijah Moore, I would pick up if he's out
But
there.
I'm not like crazy, excited about it or anything like that. I'll take another opinion. Who you guys think I should start at my RB2 and my second flex? So you got to pick 2 of them, 1 RB and then 1 either RB or wide receiver. CEH, Gibson, Edmonds, ETN, Bateman, or A-Rob? That's a good question.
Yeah. Personally, if it's me, I'm probably going Antonio Gibson and Robinson. Robinson and Gibson. It's probably your 2 safest choices. Gibson's going to get all the carries there. Yeah, I think Allen Robinson had a good game last week. He'll probably score again. You can't go wrong though with Bateman too. Bateman has definitely had some solid games, so that would be my third choice. But my first 2 choices would be Gibson and Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, it is a real tough one. Because Gibby, obviously, Robinson is not playing yet. I don't believe. We'd have to check that, but I don't think he's actually playing yet. So Antonio Gibson, of course, will be in there getting the ball, but he wasn't efficient. I mean, he hasn't been efficient. 14 for 58, 14 for 28. I mean, he had the touchdown, which kind of saved him last week, but I don't know. I'm not really liking playing Gibson. So I'm gonna go with CEH because I think the upside obviously is there. But I don't mind if you did play Gibby, but I don't know. I just don't trust it right now. I can't believe I'm saying play CEH over Gibby, but
Yeah, I think if you have Gibby on your team, you have to start him.
yeah, considering where you drafted him, possibly. But I'm gonna roll with CEH. Fuck it, we're gonna roll with CEH over Gibby, and then in the second slot, we're gonna go with either Bateman or A-Rob. Now A-Rob, they're going against Arizona, could be a high scoring game. The problem with Bateman is he's not going to get a ton of targets. He's going to have like that one big play. He's had a big play both weeks so far. So that's the thing with Bateman. He's a big boom or bust guy. A-Rob had a shit game the first week. Second week had a better game. Still wasn't heavily targeted. Should have had actually an extra touchdown that they wound up calling back on some bullshit. I think it was some kind of medical timeout, some stupid ass shit. Like somebody they thought maybe had a concussion or something, and they stopped the game. So anyway, he should have had 2 touchdowns. So, and like I always say, kind of with the flex option, like go with the upside. And the way that Bateman has been great, but I think I'm going to go A-Rob for the simple fact that Baltimore is going against New England. And for some reason, New England is always good at taking away the best wide receiver on the other team. Even though that happens to be kind of Andrews. Actually, you know what? Maybe I do go Bateman here. go upside with the bomb. Yeah, I'm gonna go CH and Bateman. I'm gonna go with the upside with the bomb. I like A-Rob, but he's still got to prove that he can get more targets. So let's go with the upside on the bomb to Bateman. And CEH I'm gonna go with. Who'd you go with, Chicken? You went with Gibby and A-Rob?
With Gibson and yeah, A
Is
Rob.
it-
Because I heard that A Rob has been wearing white sleeves under his uniform, so Stafford thinks he's white, so he throws the ball to him more. That was a strategy because people say that's why Stafford only throws the ball to Cup. So yeah, I think A Rob with the white sleeves is going to get some more looks.
Really, no doubt. Hurts AJ Brown stack is finally going to get on the board with a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, I think Chicken's got a Hurts and AJ Brown stack in Dynasty, so I know
I do
he's
have that in Dynasty. Yes, I do.
all right. I'll be the odd one. I'll take Carolina at home. Yeah, Patrick, I'm taking Carolina at home too. You agree about Mike Thomas? Yeah, man, I'm not crazy about Mike Thomas, but yeah, definitely. Shit, what's the next one I got here? Jags and Chargers. We'll run through the rest of these real quick. Jags and Chargers.
Jags Chargers. Depends if Herbert is playing. If Herbert plays, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. If he doesn't, then I'll go Jags.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. If Herbert plays, if he doesn't, I'm going Jags too. So I agree there. I hope he does play because I need Mike Williams to just fucking go off again.
Yeah, hopefully he does. I like what I've seen so far from the Jags, though. They've looked solid
Yeah.
this year. Very
And
impressive, James Robinson. So
yeah, I'm not totally sold on it yet. I mean, I don't know. I think we know now that obviously James Robinson is going to get most of the work, but they might be down so much where ETN is still like still a good play. If they're going to be down.
it's still
Keenan-
early in the season. Anything can happen.
So Keenan Allen is still questionable. They don't know if he's going to go or not. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. If Herbert plays, we're going Chargers. If not, we're going Jags. Rams and like I was just saying, Rams and Arizona. Who you got?
Rams in Arizona. I'll probably go with the Rams.
Rams.
Rams in that game, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I don't trust Arizona yet. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I like Corey Davis too, but Morris Wilson's guy. Look at the stats last year.
Yeah.
That's I know, but don't forget also
Corey Davis was hurt most of last year. He only played a
and
couple of games, I believe. But Moore is solid, but just
and also Garrett Wilson wasn't there last year, so we really don't know. But he does have that chemistry with Moore. If I had to bet on one or the other, I'd go with I'd say Moore maybe gets more of the looks. But like I said, it's a toss up. Like you kind of have to wait and see. I was gonna either go CEH and Gibson or CEH and Bateman. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go Gibson over. I wouldn't go Gibson over Bateman or whoever the other one was. I forgot. But yeah, that's what I'm going with there. Jags at first don't play. All right, Rams. ETN is one major play away from demanding carries. That's how I feel about ETN. I mean, he should have had 2 touchdowns the other week. I don't think James Robinson looks that good. He's been scoring and been good in fantasy, but like on the field wise, like I don't see, ETN is just way more explosive. So who's at home, the Cardinals or the Rams? The Cardinals are at home. All right, let's move. We got a few more here quick. Atlanta and Seattle.
Atlanta and Seattle. It's a tough one.
Seattle's at home.
I'll probably go with Seattle. I don't really believe in Atlanta too much, or Seattle at that matter. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
more towards Seattle with that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I want to see Seattle succeed. They just won't. It's just I don't know. It just hurts.
Well, no, I don't trust Gino, but I think DK is going to have a big game. He's due for his.
I
He
would
just,
hope so. And last week he had a big catch, and they wound up calling it back. And it's like
uh,
that's the thing. That was the only play they tried to take the ball deep to Metcalf. Like that's not going to work, especially for us fucking fantasy owners. Like taking one shot.
I think they're going to
Game.
design more plays for DK because a guy like him, you have to get him involved. You
Well,
could just throw him the ball up, and more times than not, he's going to come down with it, no matter who's covering him. So
yeah, I mean,
you
he had
take advantage of that.
He had 7 targets, right? 7 targets both games. And they tried to get the ball to him early, which they did, but just short yardage, obviously.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of short yardage plays. He hasn't really had the big play yet, but it'll come.
And I think it's fine if they're trying to do that and with those 7 carries. I mean, 7 carries, 7 targets, but he needs to get 3 or 4 more targets on deep balls every game. So
he needs at least 10 targets a game.
If he's getting at least 10 targets or 11 targets and 2 or 3 deep shots a game, I mean that's what you want. One is not going to cut it. So I want Pete Carroll gone. Yeah, I mean I think his time is fucking kind of. I think they just need to change the scenery almost. Just one of those. Things. All right, Packers. Yeah, right. Packers and Tampa Bay. Who you got?
I got Tampa Bay all day. I think Leonard Fournette's going to have a huge game. I think he's going to run all over the pack. He's going to catch a couple balls. Tampa Bay's receiving core is looking thin. No Chris Godwin again. No Mike Evans. So I think Russell Gage is playing right, and they have Rashad Perryman, Scotty Miller. Receiving core is looking thin, but Tom Brady's going to make it happen.
Yeah, I got Tampa Bay as well. I mean, Packers are just obviously not looking good. Wide receivers are obviously thin. Sammy Watkins, I think, is out now as well.
Yeah,
so I do expect Dubes to have a good game though this week. I think they rely on Dubes a little bit more, and I like Dubes as a nice sleeper guy, to plug in, in deeper leagues if you need to. I wouldn't mind doing that. Even though I don't love the Tampa Bay matchup, obviously the defense is good, but he needs somebody out there, and he seems to kind of like Dubes. But I'm not like excited about starting him if you have to start him. Dylan says Packers and Rodgers has a breakout game. I mean, you would hope so. Packer fans out there, or
possible. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Packers
or Aaron Rodgers owners. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But like I said, if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Dubes really at this point. So we both got Tampa there, and then we've got 2 last games here. We've got San Fran at Denver. My boy Javonte, who looks fucking superhuman. He looks so good. They just need to shove the ball down.
Yeah, he's been looking good.
And they're going against San Fran. Obviously, Jimmy G now is in. No Trey Lance, as he broke his shit, which is unfortunate. But who do you got here, Denver or San Fran?
I think I'm going to go with Bronco Country here. I think they're going to ride out this week, and I think they're going to get the win. I think Russell Wilson is going to step up in a big way. He's going to put the team on his back, and I think they're going to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. I think Denver finally, plays better. Obviously, Russell Wilson just hasn't looked good. He hasn't played well. They need to stop fucking around and just give Javonte these damn 20 carries and just kind of roll with that. Kind of like how the Seattle used to be, where they're just leaning on Marshawn, leaning on Carson, and then letting Russ do his work from there. I don't think you can just let Russ cook, which what they've been trying to do, and he's just not doing it. I think they really need that ground game, especially when fucking Javonte. I mean, that first game, it really was pissing me off. He had like only a few carries, but he was averaging like 8 yards a fucking carry. and they kept giving the ball to Melvin, and it just was pissing me off. But now it looks like Javonte has somewhat taken over 65% of the snaps. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about Javonte and the Melvin thing?
I mean, I think it's going to continue to be, mainly a split. Javonte is probably going to get a little bit more work, but Melvin Gordon looks good. The way he's been running the ball. I think he's still averaging, like 4.5, almost 5 yards a carry. He's been pretty efficient. If you look at his carries and his yards, he looks good running the ball. So you can't just completely phase him out. He's always going to be there, which is, kind of going to, cap the ceiling of, Javonte, because some of those yards and
Don't you dare!
some of those touchdowns also. Some of those red zone touchdowns,
there,
coach. So
listen, we ain't worried about no fucking 30-year-old whatever fucking Melvin Gordon. I ain't worried about Melvin Gordon. And as you saw last week, Javonte 65% of the snap. Right. So little by little, we are getting up there. And all you got to do is just watch. Just look at the game. Just watch Javonte with the damn ball. I mean, he's just breaking tackles like crazy. Led the league last year in broken tackles, even when he was splitting carries. And as of right now, Javonte is, I think, RB 15 in PPR, and he hasn't got a ton of the carries, and he hasn't scored a touchdown. So it's just a matter of time before Javonte fucking starts just eating. You're right about Gordon. Yeah, I'm right there with Patrick. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, fuck. They're not. I'm not worried about Melvin Gordon. I'm not. Last year was a little bit different, obviously, the rookie year and all that. But now I think that everybody can see Javonte deserves the fucking ball. And Russ missed him last week. I sent the picture in the chat, Chicken. I don't know if you saw that, where Javonte was just wide open in the end zone.
He was
wide open, and Russ didn't throw him the damn ball. So that really kind of pissed me off. And Patrick, I'm not saying that Gordon doesn't have some left. Gordon is a great player. He proved that last year, even at his age. Just compared to what we see from Javonte, like, you can't keep that man off the damn field. Like, it's going to be so hard to keep Javonte off the field at some point once he really starts rumbling. So that's what I mean about Melvin Gordon. Not that Melvin Gordon is garbage or anything like that. I do like him. I just think Javonte is just far superior to Melvin Gordon. All right, that brings us to the last game here, which is going to be Dallas at New York Giants. So Dallas at New York. I'm going to roll. I don't think I could even pick the Giants still, even with Dak not there.
I don't know. I'll probably go with the Giants.
You going with the Giants?
Yeah, I'll go with the Giants. I just don't trust Dallas without Dak there. I don't think, Cooper Rush. Is that his name, Cooper Rush or Brandon Rush? Cooper Rush, right? Yeah, Cooper Rush. I don't trust Cooper Rush at all. So
I'm not fucking
Saquon might have a big game, and the Giants have been looking good.
I think this is the week the Giants lose. They shouldn't have won the first 2 weeks, to be honest. So I just think that it's Pollard season. All right, forget about Zeke. Like, it's time.
Zeke still has it.
It's Pollard season. Zeke looked like shit. Pollard looks way better. They just need to start giving the ball to Pollard. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Dallas. I just don't trust the Giants yet. They should be obviously feeding Saquon, and maybe Saquon does have a big game, but I don't know. I just don't like the Giants, so I'm just not picking them. Patrick said he likes the Giants. I want y'all to read my comment why I hate Pete Carroll. Did I miss that? My bad, Patrick. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, here. I think this is what you're talking about. I have since he lost the Super Bowl trying to glorify Russ instead of feeding beast mode. Fuck Carroll. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows he should have ran the ball there. I mean,
Yeah, he fucked up.
it was a surprising call. Obviously, you've got beast mode, so you're trying to run the ball there, but it is, it is what it is there. Why do I have an extra player on my shit? I'm looking at my dynasty team and it's wide receiver empty. What the hell did I do? Oh, we put the trade through finally.
Yes, trade went through.
That's why. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, he put it through. He put it through before.
So
So
yeah,
go ahead and start Ayuk. Like you're gonna.
yeah, I'm gonna start Ayuk. So me and Chicken made a dynasty trade. All right, and we're in our dynasty league. And hold on, let me go to the damn trade here. So I had DK Metcalf, and I traded DK Metcalf and Khalil Herbert in a dynasty league for Brandon Ayuk, a basically an early or mid to first round pick next year, 2023, as well as a linebacker, Okereke.
From the Colts.
And Chicken got DK and Herbert. So I got Ayuk, Okereke, and a first round pick, and he got DK and Herbert. Let me know what y'all think about that dynasty league. Make sure y'all understand that specifically. If y'all
Yeah.
play dynasty.
And I had Ayuk on my bench. He wasn't starting on my team. So my
Yeah.
linebacker that I traded, Okereke or Okereke, however you pronounce his name, he was on my bench also. He wasn't starting for me. So I looked at it as I was just trading a couple of guys from my bench and the pick, for DK Metcalf. I get to pair him now with AJ Brown, so pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good for your team. I mean, I wasn't actively I don't even remember how it came up. I wasn't actively trading DK, but it just
You
kind of.
wanted Ayuk. You came knocking on my door for Ayuk,
I did. Okay, that's why then. Yeah.
and then I said I'll give you Ayuk and a first rounder for DK.
Oh
Then
yeah,
after
that's how it
some,
came about. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and then after some you know, negotiations, we were able to hash it out.
I guess I just felt like Ayuk and Metcalf are going to be similar this year. If not, Ayuk maybe being a little bit better with Jimmy G coming back in.
Yeah,
And then I'm
Ayuk
like, all right, so
went up with the Trey
yeah,
Lance injury.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, if I get Ayuk and that's the same production, and then on top of that, I'm getting a good first round pick and a linebacker. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll take it, and I'll pick up pick up a rookie in the draft, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver, and and kind of go from there. Lynch was a headache, so they wanted to make Russ the damn poster boy, and it pissed Russ off, and ended up pushing him out the door. Yeah, I mean, if you watch, I saw a clip from Richard Sherman's podcast, and he was talking about Russ and Pete Carroll and how Pete Carroll babied him at first when he got there, and I think it was I forgot who he had on. He had somebody that was on the Seahawks there, or was on the Seahawks, and they were talking about how Russ was babied, and some of the team didn't like that, and then instead of keeping the Legion of Boom together, that defense, they chose to take Russ instead, the QB, which makes sense, but it kind of just some of the players were kind of just why is he not getting treated the same, so it was actually a good one. If you look that up, just look up Richard Sherman's podcast. But all right, let me just. What are there any decisions that you need to make this week, Chicken, on any of your teams, as far as your flex or whatever? Any decisions that you have to make?
Well, in my dynasty league, in my flex spot, it came down to either Brandon Cooks, Adam Thielen, or Damien Pierce, and I chose Brandon Cooks. I put Adam Thielen and Pierce on the bench. I just acquired DK Metcalf. I think I have to start DK. I'm not going to have him on my bench. So, yeah, that was really the only, decision that I had to make. And then I think I'm not sure if Jerry Judy's playing this week. I have him in a league where I also have Mike Evans, who's going to be suspended. So if Jerry Judy doesn't play in my flex, I would have to choose between Rashad Penny, James Cook, or Romeo Doubs. I'll probably go with Doubs if Judy doesn't play over Penny.
Yeah.
That's really my only other decision that I have to make. Let me see.
I gotta drop I gotta drop somebody. Shit.
Yeah, or it's Penny. Or my flex, it's either going to be Penny, Daubs, or Traylon Burks. I'm not too confident yet in Burks, so probably going to go with Romeo Daubs.
Yeah. Vols the GOAT. Thanks for joining, Vols. The GOAT, I like that name. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Chicken, I guess, read the question there. Should I trade Najee and Gabe Davis for Mixon and Devonta Smith?
Please don't do that.
Chicken was a quick no. Yeah, I'm gonna say no as well. I don't think you'd rather. I mean, Najee and Mixon are kind of close, even though Mixon obviously is in a better offense. But I'd much rather have Gabe Davis than Devonta Smith.
Me too. It depends if it's a dynasty or a redraft league. If it's a redraft league, I might be taking Mixon over Najee for this year.
Yeah, I was just thinking of
dynasty. If it's dynasty, I'm definitely taking Najee over Mixon for sure.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Vals. As redraft, what other running backs do you currently have? What other wide receivers do you currently have? This way we can just kind of see a bigger picture of it there, unless he wrote it in here. No, I didn't write it in there. It's redraft. Okay, so yeah, we know it's redraft now, so that's fine. So yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends who your other wide receivers are. I don't mind getting rid of Najee and taking Mixon because obviously he's in a better offense. But I'd rather have Gabe Davis and Devonta Smith. And in that case, I'd rather probably have the Najee side. But I think we need to know who else you have on your team so we can really make a proper decision there.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I wouldn't take that trade. I'm not really a big fan of Joe Mixon. I feel like he's just not very efficient. A lot of games, the guy has 25 to 30 carries and he's only putting up 65 to 75 yards on the regular. So he does score touchdowns though. So
I have Saquon and Marquise Brown and Sutton, but I'm 0-2. How the hell are you 0-2?
Well, Marquise Brown has had a slow start. Najee Harris has had a slow start too.
Yeah.
So I think Najee's probably going to pick it up. Gabe Davis was hurt last week. You didn't really get nothing from him. So
yeah, I think the main thing to look at here is that Mixon and Devonta Smith are not going to be the difference of you winning the league of between Mixon and Smith or Najee and Gabe Davis. I don't think that Mixon and Devonta Smith's side are going to win you the league, if you make that trade. So for that, just in general, no, I'm not going to make the trade. You still have Saquon, you still have Marquise Brown, you still have Sutton. So you have a good team. It just looks like you've been unfortunate.
You got Saquon, Najee, Marquise, Sutton, and Gabe Davis. Yeah, I would definitely keep that.
Yes, I'd keep that. I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't want to lose Gabe Davis and have to play Devonta Smith every week. I'd rather roll with Gabe Davis. Absolutely. So we're going to say to decline that trade. Don't do it. I know you're 0-2, and that can be frustrating. But
hang on.
Yeah, Val's. I wouldn't do that. I keep who you have, and just kind of roll with it there. And Najee just, he'll get better as the season goes on, hopefully. But even still, I think I mentioned this today. He was averaging like 11 points a game, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Even
last
off weeks, he's probably going to give you double digits, around 10 points.
So, I mean, last year he averaged 15.5 points a game. So that's the difference between, a touchdown, in between these first two games or so. And that changes his whole outlook. So don't give up on Najee yet. And he looked fine. It didn't look like his foot was bothering him at all.
No, he looked great. He looked good and explosive.
So he looked good. He looked good moving. He looked good running the football. So yeah, we're gonna say don't do that trade, brother. Again, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see what other questions we got here. I don't trust Smith. Yeah, Dylan, we don't trust Smith either.
No, one bit.
It looked like they were trying to get him a little more involved last week, but we still don't like him. I disagree with you. Go with the starters on better teams. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that logic of going with the starter on the better team, but I just think the overall difference between Mixon and Najee is not going to be great. Whereas if Gabe Davis and Devonta Smith can be a huge difference in production, where Mixon and Najee just won't be a huge difference. And that's why we kind of went that way is, we just feel the difference between Najee and Mixon is not great enough to make that trade, where the difference between Gabe Davis and Devonta Smith is just too much of a difference. Look at the targets he got last week because they made it a point. Absolutely. Listen, I agree. They did make it a point, and that's kind of what I was saying as far as, Devonta Smith, but I don't think that's going to continue going forward at that rate. And at that clip, it's not going to
either.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to allow, just AJ Brown to not have his time or not have his work as well. But yeah, I'm not trusting Smith yet. Give it a couple, in a few more weeks. If Smith is balling just like Gabe Davis, then yes, maybe you do make that trade. But as of right now, it's too much of a difference between losing Gabe Davis and gaining Devonta Smith, I think, at this point in time. Again, great offense there as well. But all right, let's see. I try to have Davis and Smith if you could. Yeah, I mean, if you could, that'd be great. If you can keep Davis and just trade Najee and get Mixon and Smith, I mean, yeah, I'd do that maybe. If you can keep Davis, yeah, definitely I'd do that. Look at the targets he got last week. We got that. Anthony, thanks for joining, Anthony. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. But in the flex, I'm guessing we got to pick one here. Jacoby Myers, Damien Harris, J.K. Dobbins, or Treylon Burks. What do you think, Chicken? I'll let you answer this one first.
Well, I mean, automatically for me, I'm going to narrow that down to either Damien Harris or Myers. Jacoby Myers actually has been playing really good recently. He's had some good catches. Been showing a lot of flashes. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm either going with Harris or Myers. If it comes down to it, I'm probably starting Damien Harris, because I think he has a better chance to, get in that end zone, and he's going to get the work. He's the lead back there, so I'm probably going to go Damien Harris in this situation.
Yeah, I'm going to go actually Jacoby Myers. I don't think Burks is heavily enough involved yet, and they just limited touchdown upside, obviously. Dobbins is his first game back. We're not trusting anybody in that Ravens backfield, especially Dobbins on his first game back. He'll be on a pitch count. Damien Harris, I don't like this week just because of who they are playing in Baltimore. I think it's going to be a blowout, so they're going to have to pass more. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. And who is New England? Yeah, New England's playing Baltimore. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. I think they'll have to throw, and Jacoby Myers obviously
Jacoby could have a big game.
Could have a big game, exactly. I'll try to keep Davis. Val says, I see what you're saying. People saying to panic about Najee and also have Zeke off the bench. So I don't know if I can make a trade for better flex because I'm interchanging Bateman and Zeke. I would
see Quan and Zeke. Maybe you could trade Najee then.
Well, no, I don't trust Zeke, so I wouldn't say to trade Najee. But everybody's saying to panic because they're trying to make you panic, bro. They want you to go out and make a dumb trade, so that you're hurting yourself. Don't do that. I mean, you have Zeke. Can you trade Zeke and Bateman or some shit like that, or Zeke and can you trade Zeke and Davis, Zeke and Bateman maybe, and get somebody better for you to play in your flex there? Maybe I'd look at something like that. And maybe I'd do that kind of option right there. Because you've got Gabe Davis in the flex, which is great. So see who you can trade off Zeke to. Play the game of they've got Dak is out, so they're going to be leaning on the run game. Look at last week; he had 15 carries. He just didn't bust one out. Just maybe try and finagle something and trade Zeke and somebody you have for somebody better. Yeah. What do you think there, Chicken? What do you think about?
I mean, I think it seems like a solid team.
Yeah.
If you have Saquon, Najee, and Zeke, you could definitely trade. At least one of them if you're looking to improve at, the wide receiver spot. But, I would definitely keep Sutton. I wouldn't think about trading Sutton. And Davis, I would keep Davis. I mean, it seems like a solid team. I don't think I would trade Najee. Najee isn't really the kind of guy that you want to trade. He does get a lot of volume. He's the bell cow guy there. So I'd probably try to hold on to Najee. If anything, trade Zeke or something. But I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
team seems solid. I might just leave them intact how it is.
Yeah, it's like I said, it sucks you're 0-2, but maybe just stay how you are, and you just got to let it play out. Don't panic yet. It's only week 2. Listen, all you got to do is make the playoffs in fantasy football. Just make it to the playoffs, and that could be, you could be 500, you could be less than 500 and make the playoffs. I mean, you just got to worry about making the playoffs and making the right calls week to week. So I would wait until Zeke has a big game and then fucking trade Zeke. That's what I'd do, honestly. Wait till Zeke has a big game and try and come off of him. He's right about Harrison with the touchdown perk. Harrison. Am I lost here? I can't remember this.
Maybe Damien Harris. I was talking about.
Damien Harris. Okay, Damien Harris. Yeah, Damien Harris does have the touchdown perk. That is one thing where it's hard to kind of sit him.
He can get in the end zone any given week, 1, 2, 3 times.
That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about it is that but you've got to just take those bad weeks, which is gonna suck. But you got almost kind of no choice. I try to move Zeke before he loses all value. Yeah, I mean, if you could, definitely Zeke will lose value. Bateman very valuable. Yeah, as of right now, Bateman is a guy that's going to be hit or miss. We haven't seen a miss yet, but it's coming. Hey, Steve, roll up in the questions where I asked if I should make a trade. My bad. I must have missed it. My bad. Sometimes we miss shit with everything. Where I asked if I should make a trade. Patrick. Is this the one? Oh, my bad, Patrick. Okay. I got Hurts, Diggs, JJ, AJ Brown, Pitts. No, we didn't. I think we did answer this one. A-Rob, Gallup, Hunt. Should I package deal for starting running back 1? Oh, White and Hunt. Should I package a deal for starting RB1 or stay put? No, I think you're fine where you are, bro. I wouldn't give up anything that you have. I mean, you're fine with the receipt because you're so good at wide receiver with Diggs, Jefferson, AJ Brown, and Bateman. I mean, you're fine rolling with CEH, Gibson, Hutz, Edmonds, and ETN, Rashard White, Hunt. You're fine just kind of rolling those guys in as as each week goes. You can just plug and play those guys. But yeah, don't make a trade for RB. There's a reason why you drafted those guys at wide receiver. There's no reason to go out and trade anybody to go get an RB with who you have basically right now. Unless somebody was to get injured, one of your RBs to get really injured, then maybe. But as of right now, I would keep it the same. What do you think, Chicken?
And I definitely wouldn't trade Diggs, Jefferson, or Brown. They, you know, what they could do. That's probably, the best starting three wide receivers in fantasy football that you could possibly have. So
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't trade them. If you do want to get a better running back, maybe you could trade Clyde or you know Gibson, package him up with maybe a guy like Bateman or
Yeah.
maybe maybe even a guy like Pitts. You can get a lot for him. If it's not a dynasty league, I would probably try to trade Pitts. I'm really not that high on him. Just at the tight end spot. His team's not that good. I don't think he's going to put up huge numbers, and you could probably get a tight end off of waivers. That's not going to be that far off. So
Yeah.
personally, that's what I would do. I don't really value tight end position that high in fantasy. So
yeah. We've got a few more questions. We'll finish these up before we get out of here, guys. We'll get to the questions there. Just be a little patient as we roll down. Nobody in my league wants Zeke, though. That's a problem because he's averaging 5.9. I don't know who I could get for him. And Davis or Bateman, what you said about Zeke having a big game is facts. Yeah, I mean,
it's still early. Guys are going to have big games. Sometimes guys start off slow. I wouldn't panic yet.
That's what I'm saying. Wait till the big game. Wait till the big game, and then boom, you fucking trade him right there. Because that's the thing about fantasy value is every week shit fucking changes like crazy. All it takes is one big week, and boom, you can do. You can kind of do what you want there. But trade Zeke like you're trying to trade Akers. Yeah, I was never in on Akers. I hated Akers. I think Sutton or Brown looks good in that trade instead of Gabe Davis. But I agree with maybe staying put and not panicking. Yeah, I just stay put. It doesn't make sense to trade any of those guys unless you're getting a substantial upgrade. But you have guys that all are going to be, they all have good potential there. So also got Russell Wilson, who sold me week 2. I went against Lamar. Yeah, Russell Wilson hurt. I think, Chicken, you got Russell, don't you?
Yeah, I got Russell Wilson in 2 of my leagues. Week 1, he was okay. Week 2, I lost both of those leagues that I had him in. So,
Nick R, thanks for joining, Nick. I don't remember if you're one of our subscribers or not, but if you aren't, like and subscribe for us there. Thank you for tuning in. James Robinson for Elijah Moore. Will they accept? You're trying to give up James Robinson for Elijah Moore? I mean, I don't know who's in your team. I mean, will they accept? I guess it's not, I guess, a horrible trade. I'd rather have the James Robinson side, though.
I'd rather have James Robinson, too, over Elijah Moore all day.
Yeah. I would say the other part of that equation would be, is James Robinson just on your bench? Is James Robinson a guy that you're actively need to play? Because if he's on your bench, because obviously you most likely got him late because obviously he was injured. I wouldn't mind taking that dark chance and grabbing Elijah Moore now that Zach Wilson is coming back. So if James Robinson is on your bench and you're not currently playing him, I'd probably try and get something a little bit more, maybe Elijah Moore and something else, just because obviously he hasn't really produced yet. But I wouldn't mind trying to stash him. I don't know if I'd do it straight up. I'd try and get something else in there. But I'd rather have the James Robinson side, like I said, if you have to actually play him there. My big 4 staying put for sure. Hurts, Diggs, Jefferson, AJ Brown. I'm just going to stay put with Pitts. He has 0 value so far. Yeah, Pitts will get it together. I mean, that will come. So don't panic there on Pitts. Or like I said, the easiest thing to do is wait till he has a big game and fucking trade him for somebody. So, but then again, at that tight end position, I mean, you'd rather just have Pitts there. The offense is not that good. Obviously, the team is not that good. They could be throwing a lot, so I think they'll get him more involved. Nickel Pickle, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Start Chris Olave or Henderson at flex. I'll answer this one first. For me, easily it's Olave. He had 11 targets last week, I think. Led his team in targets. So I love Olave. I think he's starting to come along. As where Henderson, I advised not to play Henderson even last week, where they kind of got Akers back into the swing of things, and that's what I was scared of, is that at any point in time, Akers can be out the doghouse and starting to play, and that's exactly what happened. Even though Henderson had the touchdown, he didn't have like a crazy productive day. So, what do you think, Chicken? Olave or Henderson at the flex?
I don't know. It's hard for me to trust Olave. I mean, I don't really trust Henderson either. It's really a toss-up. I don't know. I'd probably start Henderson. I think he has a better chance of scoring a touchdown. Olave, I just don't really trust yet. Him being a rookie, and then with Jameis Winston, you never know. So
Yeah, no, I'm still rolling with Olave. I
I
was
would
still
start Henderson.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go with Olave for those reasons. I just don't know, because if Akers makes a big play, then it's like they're just gonna give the ball to Akers, and it just upset me last week that Akers got so much burn, and even though Henderson kind of got that goal line work, it's just I don't know, it's rough, and what could be a pass heavy game against Arizona or high scoring. I don't know. It's a tough call, but I'm gonna go with Olave. I'm gonna go with that upside rather than Henderson, because, like I said, I just think he's capped. He's just kind of limited there with Akers back and him out of the doghouse there. But that was a good one. But all right, it looks like that is it as far as all the questions. I mean, we've been on for a minute now, but guys, tomorrow, are you available tomorrow, Chicken?
Uh, Probably after like 12,
Yeah, no,
1
that won't work.
o'clock.
All right, so we'll be on. I'm going to put it up now, but I'll be on tomorrow from 11 to 12 again, answering any kind of questions anybody has, start, sits, trades, whatever it has. I'll be on 11 to 12 on this channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the little notification button there so you get the notification. So I'll be on tomorrow morning from 11 to 12. And then I'll be on from 12 to 1 on Fantasy Football Network, doing same kind of thing, Q&As with a couple of those guys over there. So you can catch me tomorrow, 11 to 12 here on this channel, and 12 to 1 on the Fantasy Football Network. So if you missed me, you can find me there. Patrick still thinks you roll with Henderson. Yeah, I'm just going to disagree there. Chris Hicks, well, I'll answer your question here for you as we're about to get off. Thanks for joining. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. ETN or Damien Harris, full PPR. This is a real tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough
Because
one.
you kind of want to play ETN. I mean, you kind of want to play Damien Harris, of course. He's the guy there. But obviously, if it's a blowout, it's not going to favor him. On the other hand, James Robinson has been getting all the work, so it's like, damn, do you play ETN? Because they could be down by a lot too. Is the other part of it, and if Herbert plays and Jacksonville's down by a lot, ETN's going to be out there getting the pass work. So I think you've got to, play Damien Harris and wait until ETN proves something. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go Harris there. What do you think, Chicken?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Harris too, just because he's probably going to get more work.
Yeah.
If you go with ETN, you just probably got to hope he gets a big play in a touchdown, because James Robinson is definitely going to get a majority of the work there. I think over the past 2 weeks, he has, proven to be the lead back and to be the better back. So
Yeah.
I would go Harris over him for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too there. Thank you, Chris, for joining in. Like I mentioned before, like and subscribe. But I think it does favor ETN if it's a blowout. Yeah, definitely it favors him. It's just that we don't know obviously what's going to happen. So you want to maybe just play safer, give it to the guy that's going to get the ball, which is going to be Damien Harris. And no problem, Chris. But yeah, like I said, catch me tomorrow, guys. 11 to 12 here, 12 to 1 on the Fantasy Football Network. Subscribe to them as well if you haven't. And all that information is down kind of in the description there, so guys can check that out. But thanks for joining us here. We will see you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Chicken, maybe next week you hop on with us.
Yep.
Hop on with us as well. But other than that, guys, we are out of here. Thanks